Hi everybody, welcome back to another not quite episode of Black Magic Craft. I'm tuning in live, something I don't normally do here on the channel, but I wanted to do a quick little showcase of the project that I have been working on. Those of you paying attention to the community tab on the YouTube page will know that I have been experimenting with resin casting in order to create some modular dungeon doors that I am hoping to bring to you guys as a product that you can purchase this spring. I'm going to be launching these via Kickstarter. I've spent the last couple weeks doing prototypes and experimenting with casting because I'm new to both resin casting and mold making, and in the last couple weeks I've come a long way from my initial sculpts and prototypes to what is now a full actual usable master set that I am finally happy with, that I will now be able to take to make batch molds and bigger molds. They're not 100% perfect, but they're close enough, and I now have a true proof of concept, and I know that this will work. So what are these? These are some original Black Magic Craft sculpted dungeon doors. So many people ask me about the doors that I use in my videos, and those doors are made out of XPS foam, and I've never done a video on them because they are time consuming to make, and honestly I don't think they look that good. I've thought about how I could make really good looking doors and do a tutorial on it, but the reality is doors take a lot of effort and work to look nice, and you need a bunch of doors to play D&D. So that led me to the decision that I needed to do really nice sculpts, mold them, and cast them in resin so that I could put all the effort into one sculpt of, a door frame, and then one sculpt of each door slab style, and then I could mass replicate them. So that's what I decided to do for myself, but that doesn't really help you guys. So I thought, hey, well, if I'm going to be molding these and casting them, why don't I do them in large quantities so that I can bring them to the public, and that way I can also make a little bit of extra money on the side to help fund some videos and hopefully help me get to that full-time Black Magic Craft dream that is so close I can taste it. But anyways, I am going to be launching this project on Kickstarter hopefully soon, within a month or two at the most. I don't want to rush it, but I'm anxious to get it to market so I can start fulfillment, and I think it's going to be amazing, and I'm really excited to have my actual sculpts on your guys' table. I do a lot of tutorials, and I see projects that you guys build that are inspired by my work in your games, and that is super neat. That brings me a lot of pleasure and joy. But actually having my own original sculpts in your games would be something really special. So anyways, let's talk about these doors. So resin doors. There are some companies on the market who have some doors. That's fine. But what makes these really interesting, besides being my original sculpts, is the fact that they have modular door slabs. So many doors on the market come with a door in place, and that's that. You can't open it, you can't change it, you can't really do anything. So if you want to open the door, you need a separate piece. So you take one off, put one back that's open, you want to change doors. It's not really great. So my solution, which complicated this prototyping process, is to make door frames that have interchangeable slabs that are held in place with some fancy rare earth magnets. And I love this because this means that you can have a set of door frames and then an arsenal of different door slabs. So you have a wooden door, your adventurers approach, they pick the lock, they open the door. You don't need to take this door off your table and replace it with a open framed one. You don't need to do the thing that I used to do with my foam ones and turn it to represent open. You don't need to take it off the table. Simply pop out the door frame, and now you have an open door. Same door frame, magnetic slab. See, this is what makes this project awesome. And while there are companies out there mass producing Chinese-made plastic terrain pieces, they don't often have things like magnets in them because it is tedious and expensive to do this. And look at that. How awesome is that? You have your wood slab door. The adventurers go up to touch it and bam, it's a friggin' mimic. It's a mimic door. Everybody loves mimics. So the frames have embedded tiny magnets within them, as do the doors. And these doors are double-sided, so there's a sculpt on both sides. The back side does have this little line where it sits in the frame, but it still looks, it holds it in really nicely, but also on the back side looks pretty decent. It's got this little bump out for the magnets, but in the end, I figured it was worth it. I originally tried having just a magnet embedded on the top, but it wasn't quite strong enough, and I didn't want to be putting a product to market that fails. So each door has 2 magnets, each frame has 2 magnets, and they hold pretty good. Like, they're not going to just fall out while you're playing. If you hit them, they will fall out eventually. Shaking it, it's pretty good actually. It's holding up. I'm not there. You have to give it some force to take it out, which is great. The idea is, as of right now, when I launch this Kickstarter, you'll be able to buy a set. And the plan, as it stands, is that a set will likely include 8 of these door frames. I think that's going to be enough for an average night of gaming, 8 door frames, and then an assortment of slabs. Likely what will happen is that the base set will include these 3 sculpts. You got your regular wooden door, an iron door, and a portcullis. And I'm thinking probably a set will contain 3 or 4 of each of these because I think these are the ones that are going to get the most use. I'm probably going to do some community polling to see what the best ratio of these doors are, the most useful. But the idea is that you'll get a couple of these wood doors, a couple iron doors, and a couple of these nifty portcullis doors with a little skull on it, and 8 of these slabs, and that will be the set. Now, the fun thing with Kickstarter, of course, is unlocking stretch goals. And how perfect is it that with this campaign, unlocking stretch goals will unlock door slabs. So I already have the first 2 stretch goal slabs planned and prototyped. This one I'm calling the boss door or the vampire lord door. It's got a cool little fanged skull on it, which was really, like, doing these skulls really tested my ability for sculpting. But I'm pretty happy with the way they turned out. So first stretch goal will be the boss door. Second stretch goal will be this mimic because everybody loves mimics. And likely what will happen is that you'll have your core set, your 8 frames, a dozen or so basic doors, 3 or 4 of each of these. And then with each unlocked stretch goal, each set will get an additional door, probably just 1 of each because you don't need like 4 mimic doors. If you do, you are a mean DM, let me tell you. But this is where we're at right now. I think that this is enough to launch and get going. I'll be looking for ideas for stretch goal doors, but I don't know how big this Kickstarter is going to be. Am I going to sell 100 sets? Am I going to sell 1,000? I don't know. So I'm keeping the goals moderate at the moment. It's possible that it explodes and we get into doing some additional bigger frames and some double doors like someone mentioned there. And I'm keeping it reasonable now. I want to keep this really focused and I want to get this base core set perfect and right. Some Kickstarters, they go too big and then they can't deliver. I want to make sure that what I'm doing is perfect. Some of you guys are asking about price. Now, I don't want to say for sure what it will be because I'm still costing these, figuring out the calculations on resin in mass quantity, silicone, like all these different things, magnets. Right now, I am thinking that a base set will probably land somewhere around 60 bucks. It's not going to be nearly as cheap as, if you're buying like Reaper Bones doors, but these are out of resin, which are hard and durable. They're going to be handcrafted. They're not going to be pumped out in China, and I'm hoping that I can do that for that price and still make it reasonable. It's a little bit more expensive than, like I said, like a Bones, but I think it's still a pretty reasonable price. So let's say you get 8 door frames and like a dozen door slabs for 60 bucks. It's hard to calculate though what that lands per door because there's more slabs than frames, but I think it's reasonable. Don't hold me to that. I still got to do a lot of calculations and figure out exactly, but right now I think that's about where we are. And I've already done some calculations on shipping, because one of the dangerous things about doing production work like this based in Canada, obviously, is shipping. It could kill a project like this, but I've looked into it and I'm pretty sure that for one set, I can ship these anywhere in the world for no more than 10 bucks. So if I can get it even less, that might be even better, but I can definitely say that the shipping isn't all of a sudden going to be like $600 ridiculous dollars. Yes, I am still in Winnipeg, Tyson, so that also means any people in Winnipeg or the surrounding areas, if they back this project, they will be able to collect them in person. Actually, if it does really well, I'm hoping to maybe throw some kind of big party and deliver that way. So let me know your guys' thoughts on this. Is this something that you would be interested in backing? I know it's a little bit out of form for the channel because the core of this channel is teaching you how to build stuff yourself so that you don't have to buy stuff for your game, and now I'm telling you to buy something. But I think this is a logical next step for the channel and the brand, and also for my art. I like the idea of being able to put some real focus into higher quality sculpts and then replicating them. And don't for a second think that all of a sudden Blackmagic Craft is just going to become a retailer and doesn't teach you how to do things. The whole goal is that maybe this project makes enough funds that I can actually, with confidence, make up the little bit of income that's separate or missing from the channel to justify going full time. And if I get enough backers on this and a nice enough, nest egg to quit my job, then I can dedicate full-time efforts to Blackmagic Craft. Obviously, a lot of it's going to go to fulfilling this, but it will still leave me a lot of freedom and time to make more videos. So me selling products does not mean less tutorials. It means more. And also, it also means that I will become an expert on casting and sculpting and mold making, which I will obviously pass those skills on to you guys any way I can. Keep seeing the word double doors pop up. I definitely could do double doors. I don't know. Do you guys not think that a door frame this small would be too small for double doors? I don't know. Let me know what you think. That would be an easy sculpt to integrate here. So when is the Kickstarter launching? I don't have a hard set fast date yet, but I am hoping this spring. Like, I'm thinking in the next month or two. I finally got my prototype and proof of concept to a point where I am happy enough to move forward. I want to make, several sets so that I can paint some up and do videos and whatnot, send some to some of my friends and fellow channel people to show on their channels and build as much hype as possible. But this isn't something that's happening in 6 months' time. This is something that's happening in a month's time, 2 months' time. A wider frame for double doors. That is something, like I said, if the Kickstarter gets super successful, then maybe that will be unlocked as add-ons. But like I said, I want to keep it focused, get it right out the gate. I can definitely do that, and I definitely want to. I would also like to do some with arch door frames. Keep in mind that this would just be the beginning. If this works well, I have no shortage of ideas or things that I could sculpt, and maybe it becomes a regular occurrence where a couple times a year, Blackmagic Craft releases some resin stuff in between the videos, and there's all sorts of stuff. Really, where I would like to take this is making full resin buildings for people if they want. The other idea I had is, so as to not cut out the crafters, is I already have these sculpts, right? And these are two-sided, two-part mold sculpts, but I definitely plan on selling one-sided door slabs, say on a sprue or a sheet, for crafters. So, the crafter could buy a sheet of just these door slabs that they can use in their own terrain and buildings. Basically, you have these and you can build around them. I could do windows. There's all sorts of stuff I can do, guys. I just got to start somewhere. And like I said, I do not want to overextend myself on the Kickstarter, because I want to make sure that I am creating something that I can absolutely deliver on, and then after that build upon that. So I think that's the smart way to go. I don't want to be I don't want Kickstarter ruining my reputation. I want it to make it more awesome. So that's really it, guys. My phone is telling me that I'm almost out of batteries. If you guys shoot any quick questions, I will try to answer them before I jump off here. The chat has flown by pretty quickly for me, so I probably missed some. So shoot now. In about a minute or so, I will be jumping off so that I can keep working on this. And thanks everybody for tuning in. I don't really do these live streams too often. Lower price for lower amount of doors. That is a consideration. Maybe we do a set, let's say, for point of reference is like $60 for 8 frames and a dozen or 15 door slabs. Maybe I'll do a more entry level set that's like 4 frames and half the door slabs. I don't know if that's something that you guys would be interested in, because especially with the shipping, it's not going to be much cheaper to ship a half size set. So I'll think about it, and I will definitely be touching base with the community to get their feedback before we launch, so that this best serves you guys. Yeah, you can just drive and pick one up. Anyone in the area who wants to make it out can come pick them up in person from my game room and check that all out. Someone asked what projects I have working on for future videos. Honestly, I've been kind of tied up with this and the minis series. On Friday, I have a video coming out that's just on a neat technique that I discovered while sculpting this foam. And I'll show you that. Hopefully I can get back to building some more elaborate stuff soon. But, I only got so much time in the day, which is why I want to do this full time. Sometimes I try to do it in the wee hours of the night. Someone asked about stability. Now, keep in mind, this one isn't fully sanded down. It's a prototype. When I ship these, they will be all sanded nicely. But really, they're pretty darn stable. I would hit the table, but the phone's going to shake. They're not going to fall over super easily. Like, that's not bad. The doors are held in place pretty well. So, yeah, I think they're pretty stable. Definitely more stable than a foam door. They got a nice bit of weight to them. This material is heavier than, say, Bones material. It's hard and it's dense. So I know this probably looks similar to the soft plastic that Bones uses, but this is a hard resin plastic, so it has some weight to it. And Bunch more questions and stuff zipped past. Doing this on my phone here, so I only see the comments briefly for 1 second. So if I missed any of the other questions or comments, I'm sorry guys, but I just was excited to share this with you. Okay, I will see you guys again on Friday for the next episode. Like I said, it's going to be showing a cool foam carving technique that I developed while carving these door frames. Okay, peace guys. Have a good night. Talk soon.